Morning, students. In my previous classes, I have discussed about problem of Indian agriculture. There are lots of problems in Indian agriculture. So, government introduced various reforms to solve the problem of Indian agriculture. These reforms are classified into three categories that I have discussed in last class. Two reforms as I have discussed in details, but today I again revising those uh, reforms and a few important points which are related to those reforms. The, all the reforms classify into three categories. First one is technical reforms, second one is institutional reforms or land reforms, and third one is general reforms. In technical reforms, government started various um, modern technique of farming through which the agricultural output will increase, and that also upgrade the level of technology in Indian agriculture. In technical reforms, that is also known as a new agricultural strategy. In this reforms, government use various kinds of modern technique through which agricultural productivity will increase. In which one is use of high yielding varieties of seeds. Since 1965, high yielding varieties of seeds have been replaced by conventional varieties or traditional varieties that farmers were using. H5V seeds are basically introduced in uh, 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 wheat, bajra, jowar, and cotton. This breakthrough is also very much known as Green Revolution. So the government introduced high yielding variety seeds, and their effect has been felt. And through use of high yielding variety seeds, India becomes self sufficient in food grain production, especially wheat and rice. Second one is use of chemical fertilizers. Chemical fertilizers are being used to enhance productivity. Next is use of insecticides and pesticides for crop protection. Steps have been initiated to protect crops against disease and insects by using insecticides and pesticides. Next, government introduced scientific farm management practices. uh, Government gave a stress especially on scientific cultivation as against conventional farming. Scientific methods includes selection of crops and quality, preparation of soil, rotation of crops, and selection of seeds. These methods useful in increasing the productivity of crops. Next is mechanized means of cultivation. Government encourage farmers to use machines for cultivation. For this, government make provision to provide credit at low rate of interest. For this, government uh, encourage and open various banks, especially rural banks, and uh, uh, government also encourage commercial bank to provide credit to the farmer at low rate of interest, so they can buy machines for the cultivation, and for through this they can also increase their productivity. These are the technical reforms that is introduced by the government to solve the problem of Indian agriculture. Few institutional reforms or land reforms which are also introduced by the government. Some action plans made by the government in regard to land reforms. These are, the first one is abolition of intermediaries. Intermediaries is also known as jamindars, and the jamindari system has been abolished. Second is regulation of rent. Government fix the rent, and government try to put the end of excessive and illegal extortion from the cultivators. Government fix the rent, and these the rent should not exceed one third of the value of crop. Next is consolidation of holdings. Government give various plan through which fragmentation of the land can be the problem of fragmentation of land can be sorted out. Next is ceiling on land holdings. Ceiling on land holdings is the uh, through this government seize the land surplus land to those farmers which have holded a surplus land, and those surplus land government redistributed to those laborers and farmers, those who have very little land and those who were working as a labor in to the landlords. So these policies created equality in the society. Cooperative farming is also introduced. Through the help of cooperative farmings, the small farmers are able to enhance bargaining power of the crops. These are the main institutional reforms that is started by the government, and all those reforms basically lead to end the exploitation of the actual tillers of the soil, so that they are able to generate surplus for investment, and productivity in agriculture is expected to rise only when the farmers are able to generate surplus for investment. Through this investment, the farmers can generate more and more crop output, and this will that will improve their economic status. Next important objective is of land reform is that it promote equality in the rural areas. So institutional reforms till now is some aspect it is successful. Now few more reforms started by the government, and that reforms I will discuss uh, point by point. So, students, technical reforms and institutional reforms I discussed. Now, next is general reforms. General reforms. Basically, all the reforms measures that is taken by the government is classified into three categories: technical reforms, institutional reforms, that is also known as land reforms, and last one, that is general reforms. In what are the steps taken by the government? Technical reforms and institutional reforms I already discussed. Now I'll discuss general reforms. What kind of reforms introduced in after technical and institutional reforms that came into the category of general reforms? Few more steps taken by the government to enhance productivity and to solve the problem of Indian agriculture. These are, the first one is expansion of irrigation facility. Expansion of irrigation irrigation facilities. Irrigation means water supply, which is very necessary for the cultivation. As I already discussed, that Indian farmer are still, most majority of the farmer are were still dependent on rainwater. So that reforms, that problem is taken by the government, and so government started expansion of irrigation, so the problems of water supply will be reduced. Second one is provision of credit. Provision of credit. Third one is regulated market, regulated market and markets and cooperative marketing society, cooperative marketing societies. And fourth one is price support policies, price support policy. These reforms are introduced by the government to remove the problem of agriculture, so that farm productivity will increase and the condition of farmers will also improve. So I will discuss first one, that is expansion of irrigation facilities. With a view to raising productivity in agriculture, irrigation facilities have been expanded. Several major and minor irrigation projects have been launched across different parts of the country. If we talk about in terms of data, in 1951, barely 17% of land was under permanent means of irrigation. Only 17% at the time of 1951. Means only 17% of irrigated land were able to get water through the permanent means of irrigation. Now, in 2018-19, irrigation is covering 45% of land under cultivation. Yani 45% of cultivable area is able to get water supply. Are not, especially they are not dependent on rainfall. But still 55% of the farmer is still dependent on rainfall. There is a there is more scope to where government should focus. Next one is provision of credit. uh, Credit is also necessary for the farmers. Through the with the help of credit, they can purchase raw materials which is required in agriculture. For that, cooperative credit societies have been set up to provide credit to the farmers at low rate of interest. Also, rural development banks have been established to cater the need of credit to the farmer. At present, around according to 2017-18, there are 94 lakhs 6 94,000 sorry 94,647 packs primary agriculture credit society, and that is known as packs, and 768 rural development bank established in India. Commercial banks have also been fulfill the need of credit of the farmer. These banks provide commercial banks provide 72% of total institutional credit. Farmers are still getting major portion of their credit from the commercial banks in India. Regional rural banks have been established. Regional, that is also known as RRB, that is established in India in 1975, also established to further enhance credit facilities to the farmers. One more, especially rural bank, that is very much known as NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, that was established in 1982. Basically, this bank is established to institutionalize credit facility to the farmer at the national level. National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. Next is Regulated Markets and Cooperative Marketing Society. Regulated Market and Cooperative Marketing Societies. Regulated markets have been established all across and all part of the country. This through the regulated market, farmers are able to get remunerative price, and they can protect themselves from the exploitation of the middlemen. These markets are governed by the market committee appointed by the government. This committee ensure timely payment to the farmers and also ensure that only a specified weight and measures are used to weight and value of the farmer produce. So regulated market were also established by the government to help the farmers to get better remuneration, so the middleman will not able to exploit them. Next is price support system. Price support system, under this policy, government assure minimum support price, that is known as MSP, minimum support price, to the farmers for his produce, so protect him against uncertainties of the market. MSP is introduced by the government to protect the interest of the farmers. The government is committed to buy the surplus produce of the farmer at the minimum support price as and when the market price is lower than that. If the market price of goods, agricultural goods, is lower than, then government purchase surplus grain from the farmers, that help the farmers to get whatever investment he has made, and through this government farmers interests are protected. These are the general reforms which are introduced by the government, and these reforms are helpful to the farmers to some extent. So, students, through these reforms, we can say that thanks to agrarian reforms, there has been substantial improvement in Indian agriculture. If we compare at the time of independence to 2019, especially, or 2017 18, you can see there are various kind of reforms helps the farmer, and through these reforms India becomes self sufficient in food production. From a backward and stagnant sector of the economy, agriculture has emerged to be developing sector of the economy. For success of agriculture, there is also a great contribution this and the revolution by the effort of government. A revolution started, so especially after 1965, so India become self sufficient, and this revolution is very much known as green revolution, and the father of green revolution is Mr. Swaminathan. And through this green revolution, India becomes self sufficient, and now our government have surplus buffer stock of food grains, and our government is also exporting food grains to the rest of the world. Farmers are also encouraged to do commercial farmings, especially tea, coffee, rubber. mm, these are very spices. These goods are very much in demand in international, in rest of the world, and government are exporting these goods and earning a foreign exchange. So you, through all this discussion, students, you are able to know the what are the problems and what are the effort that the government has started. So in my next class, I will discuss about what is green revolution and what is the impact of green revolution in India agriculture. Thank you.